first speaker, I'll just remember to change to some of the speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we've had a problem that is undeniable that's been presented by the affirmative team. The negative team have accepted our problem of there being a brain drain in New Zealand. We've heard all about this from Chen. It was very clearly and logically laid out. Then from Matthew, we heard a lot about the benefits of our proposal. And just quickly, I wish to expand on that and highlight some of the benefits that it will have in keeping foreign students in New Zealand staying in New Zealand. So what we need to look at. Foreign students have the capacity to contribute greatly to New Zealand society. Our team line tonight, I think very fitting, is that free tertiary education makes for a richer New Zealand society. This is in every aspect, ladies and gentlemen. Foreign people in New Zealand have the potential to contribute hugely to our culture, to our society, also in academic levels of thinking and innovation mindsets. They are so important that New Zealand needs to be seen as a nation that welcomes these people and doesn't make education a burden for them. So how will it keep them here? Well, quite simply, ladies and gentlemen, they will see New Zealand as a country willing to invest into them, willing to make a contribution into them. See, we often hear criticisms about people, foreign people living in New Zealand who are educated and then leave. But what our proposal is going to do, a spin-off of it, is that it's going to keep these people in New Zealand by showing that New Zealand is more than a university and that the government and the people of New Zealand truly care for them, ladies and gentlemen.
On that point,
decline. First, I would like to elaborate the major and fundamental failing of the negative team tonight. The problem is this. They did not reject our problem. They needed to show us how it is being solved or how it will be solved. There were talks of current government efforts and subsidies, but then their second speaker came in and talked about the huge brain drain problem. So as far as I'm concerned, ladies and gentlemen, those are ineffective. Because they did not prove it is being solved or that they could solve it better than us, they have failed in a key role that a negative team needs to perform, especially at the final level of an ISAY debate, ladies and gentlemen. What I would like to talk about and address is this issue of incentive. Ladies and gentlemen, will our proposal really give incentive to people to stay in New Zealand? It will, ladies and gentlemen. We've already got a system, we've already got declined a culture, a way in which people are being brought up. The negative team has talked about this a lot. A way that they progress from high school to university. Inherent is this, is the culture of perhaps the loans, perhaps the cars, schools, and education is just another one of these, ladies and gentlemen. We've also got decline, as mentioned by the negative team. We've got student loans being used. Student loans would be paid off approximately with the other lifestyle loans in roughly the same amount of time as what our proposal suggests. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, the incentive is certainly there. Free education in tertiary is going to encourage more people to take it, and it's going to encourage more people to stay because they see that the government cares for them, that New Zealand is willing to invest into them. They are going to be more willing to invest back into New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen. So what I now wish to talk about is the negative responses
on that point, sir,
accepted.
Would you not say that all highly qualified people going into tertiary education can get scholarships to New Zealand universities anyway? I'm negating the university fees entirely.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have to realise that scholarships apply to such a small amount of the population as to be in significant decline. If it were only those who were getting the scholarships who were going abroad, our proposal wouldn't be worth it, ladies and gentlemen. It's so minute, it isn't an issue. So, to deal with decline, to deal with the negative responses to the model, First, we had this come up in a point of information and mentioned again. We had questions raised about pay overseas. Ladies and gentlemen, to me, this hints at the negative attempts of a counter proposal, which we did really need to see tonight, ladies and gentlemen. They said that because they're getting paid far more overseas, they're going to leave anyway.
Okay, on that point,
Accepted.
would you not say that in a country of 4 million who can't exploit economies of scale, that New Zealand is always going to have people leaving?
Exactly. My point is, if they criticise New Zealand for not being able to offer the same wage, if a country is able to pay someone $2 million and New Zealand decline like 120,000, New Zealand's never going to be able to compete anyway. So I don't see their objection as valid. The next thing, decline, we had from them,
On that point,
decline, is that we already have high access to universities. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is an objection to our model, how then can they stand and criticise us for making it even higher access? It doesn't weigh up, ladies and gentlemen. The next objection we had was that pain doesn't take away incentive. We had this idea that because people already pay to go to university, it doesn't take the incentive away to go to university and to stay. This is very well for those who do pay to go to university, but not for those who don't, who aren't considered in this. It doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. We next had this thing, this idea that 15 years was a ridiculous time period. Ladies and gentlemen, for the majority of people, for the majority of New Zealanders, of workers, of people who have come out of university or entering into university, 15 years is not substantial enough to be a burden, but enough to make the commitment that you will feed back into the country, which makes the investment into you. 15 years is not unreasonable, and I propose, decline, that even in New Zealand culture, there are barriers which would keep people here for that amount of time anyway, ladies and gentlemen. The next thing we had, we said that it was better to spend things, it was better to spend this money on things like healthcare. Can you see the problem here, ladies and gentlemen? They admit the brain drain. They admit that we have doctors leaving, yet they say, let's instead spend the money on healthcare. Let's not spend the money on getting more people into healthcare. Let's just throw money at a problem in general. It doesn't make sense, ladies and gentlemen. We next had this idea that it was devaluing education, that somehow, because it was free, it wouldn't be seen as high. Ladies and gentlemen, primary school education, free. Intermediate education, free. Secondary school education, free. Yet New Zealand is seen as a world leader in education, yet it is still free. We haven't seen New Zealand education compromised because of this, but instead it creates greater access and opportunity for people, which will allow for better systems, ladies and gentlemen. We then had this idea that income tax as proposed, which will feed back into the economy, is going to force people overseas. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to be paying more if they're earning more anyway, but the idea that paying tax is going to force people overseas is ridiculous. Tax is everywhere, and comparatively, New Zealand is low. Finally, I should sum up. So, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, what we have from the negative team, we haven't got an adequate solution or justification for their acceptance of our problem, and we've got affirmative team who has shown in every avenue that our problem is sufficient. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, tonight the affirmative team has won.